I am a very stylish girl.
Hey everyone, Amanda here coming to you with another video. Now this one is actually going to be like a repeat. My kid's sister is starting to getting more into the makeup again, and so she just kind of asked if I could kind of like revamp some of my videos since some of them have been just like a few years like earlier and stuff. So she just wanted to know how to have a nice flawless complexion. So I thought, well, I will kind of give you what I do on a daily basis. So as you can see, my face is completely naked, but we're just going to focus mostly on how to have a nice flawless complexion, and then I will have another video on how to do my eyes. So normally what I would start first is I would moisturize. Now this one is just a Ole Hendrickson, kind of infatuated with his products right now. So this is just his Sheer Transformation, just a nice lightweight moisturizer. So you just dab that all over, and then you would get ready to prime your face. So the next step, I would be using a face primer, and what that does, if you have never used a face primer before, it basically kind of marks your canvas. So your face is your canvas. It's like your wall. You want to set and prime your wall so anything that you put on it will go over nice and smooth. So that's like the best analogy to put it forward there. There's so many out there that each one works differently for everybody's skin type. Now for me, because it's so summer outside and it's still hot, that I like to use something that's going to help mattify my skin so that way it stays dry. That's why I have no much shine to it. And so right now I'm just using Primed and Poreless from Too Faced. This is a very nice smoothing primer for me that I have seen absolutely the results that I want to. But there are some that will help control oil. There will be some that will be more sensitive to different types of skins that have, I don't know, different kinds of allergies. So you might want to be looking out for some of those. Some, if you have dry skin, there are some that will be more hydrating. So there's so many out there that you will want to kind of play around and feel the different textures too. But this one tends to be a little bit on like a thicker whipped side. So just putting a little bit on my fingers. Just going to apply all over my face. And I tend to put more towards where I want more of the control. So like down and by my nose and on my lip and down by my chin. Just kind of where, mostly like in the T-zone area, that's where I tend to have more of the oil that I don't want to have on my face. So I just want it to be covered. Okay, so the next step is to since we did our priming, now we're going to do some color correcting and we're going to do some concealing as well. So the ones that I've been favoring too have been, especially for underneath my eyes, it's called Benefit Erase Paste. Now I just have a small, very small sample, and it's pink in color, and it's number 2 from that little collection of hers, and I like to use this underneath my eyes, especially for like underneath the dark circles that I have. You can see that it's kind of like shallow and blah. So I kind of like to use this, and I do this as a trick to a lot of my family members, that if you go underneath the eye and kind of create more of a triangular shape, this will just instantly lift the eye area up like 10 times more, so that way you don't have just that concentrated section, because a lot of people, when I see them, they have just this line covered, and it's just like, oh no, I know where you covered. So if you go down to like the tip of the nose and just kind of go back up and kind of create this triangular shape, this will just make this whole area much more open and brighter and makes your eyes look wide. So as you can see, there is that little difference. So it's covered, and then I still have some of the dark spots. So I'm just going to finish this side, and then we'll get on to correcting and concealing. So I'm going to finish this side and we will go on to concealing. Alright, so for concealing part, kind of works hand in hand with the color correcting. Now what I have here is a nice little palette of like color correctors and concealers for Makeup Forever. This is, I believe, the number 5 palette, and this is for like Asian skin types. Like mine's Mexican, so I do have some of that yellow undertones. So this one really works great for yellow undertone skin types. So what it has a purple, which is used to brighten. So sometimes I will put that underneath the eye area, so that kind of brightens more. The green I love because it actually helps correct any redness, and I'll show that by my nose and on my chin. And then they do have some other lighter skin tone types that you can cover over if you have just a few like imperfections that you want to take care of. So with the green, I'm just going to pick that up and put a little bit by my nose, especially that's where I get a lot of redness. And then I will put this down by my chin. And then I'll kind of put it anywhere else that I see that needs it, like right here, my brows, a little bit down by my nose. And that's pretty much it. So if you do have more that you would want to cover, best tips that I can tell you too is if you take like an eyelid primer. If you have some really stubborn like acne spots, like some like irritated red bumps or anything, that if you're having a hard time covering those, I would just then take a eyelid primer, put a little bit dab on there, and then it will conceal. So that's another good trick there, which unfortunately I haven't had any breakouts for a while, so whew, thank goodness for that for myself, because I've been under a lot of stress with work and everything. So that one I would have been happy to show you, so maybe on another one if I do. So then the next one is putting on foundation. Now this one could be anything that you want. It could be liquid, it could be powder. So I'm going to do both so you can see. So the first one, I'm just using a Face and Body from Makeup Forever. Now this is a lightweight foundation, very sheer, and it's great especially for summertime because I don't want a lot of coverage so far right now, because with what I've had with the oiliness and everything, I just don't want it to melt off. So just picking it up with my brush and just moving it in my hand so that it has some mobility, I should say. Then I'm just going to start by the nose and onto the forehead and underneath the eyes, because that's basically where I want most of my coverage to be. And then we're just going to blend that out in more of like a circular motion, just to have that nice airbrushed effect. Alright, so those with foundation applications, you can then just set it with a finishing powder. Now like I have a Makeup Forever HD, so this will give you a nice simple smooth complexion. And then you can go ahead and then put on your powders of your blush and bronzers if you want to, but this is going to set it. You could do it where you do all your stuff first and then use this and then make everything beautiful. But for those who have done the powder applications, you can then finish with your blush and your bronzer and then set it the same way. But those that are like myself who like to use a pressed powder over your foundation, I have one from Makeup Forever that I love, and this is Pro Finish. That I have the sponge here. Now you can do it wet or dry, and I'll have descriptions on the side, or it's on this side, I can't remember. It's new, YouTube, I have no idea anymore, of how to use the Pro Finish compact and having it wet or dry. So check that out. But I'm just going to pick a little bit on my sponge here, and I'm just going to pat it all over, even on my nose, underneath the eyes. And then what this does is just going to set my liquid foundation. And with the powder, it gives it a nice full coverage. So for bronzers, there's so many things with them nowadays that everybody's a little bit different. I personally like the matte looking ones that don't have any sparkle, just because I'm going to be almost 29 this year, and so I don't want anything that's going to give me a whole lot of luminosity all over the face. I'm more of a matte person. So this one is a nice bronzer for Makeup Forever. There are so many out there, like I said, that do all kinds of things. So you just gotta have to play and find out which ones you like. This one is more on the natural bronzy side, so it doesn't have any of the orangey undertones to it, so it's more natural, which is kind of what I like. So I'm just going to take a nice fluffy brush here, and what we do, just dusting some on here, we're going to concentrate on making like a 3 and an E. So we're going to go all the way around and then down to the chin, and same thing all the way around and then down to the chin. This basically gives it like the most natural, like sun-kissed look. And a lot of people just kind of focus just right here, just getting that contouring, which is fine. But you're going to notice that that's the only place where you have that contouring spot. So I can show you if you just focus right here, right on the cheek, that I have a little bit of contour. But if you go here, up to the hairline, and then down to the chin, you have more of that nice framed look going on. And just gives it more like a slendered face. So, the best way I can tell you on that is that just kind of buff it into the hairline and kind of do your 3 and E, and you'll be surprised how much we just like shrunk, like almost make it like 10 years younger on your face. So I'm going to do to the other side, and then we'll get on to the blush. Alright, so for the blush I have is Rock Tour or something. New from Benefit. It is a nice cheek powder that has some beautiful dimension to it. If I said the name wrong, I'm so sorry, but I'll have everything that I've used down below that you can check out at your local like Sephora or Ulta, maybe online. That way you can see how to get these products too. But I'm just going to use the same brush. I cleaned it off, and what we're going to do, the best route for blushes is to kind of have like a 2-finger by the nostril. That's then where you'll know to place your cheek color. So I'm just going to rock this back and forth just on my cheek. Same to the other side. Just kind of blend it into that bronzer color. Highlighters are kind of a whole new ball game for me. Not that I don't like them. Sometimes with an extra shine, I think it's unnecessary. But if you wanted to, there are so many out there now that are liquid form, or there are some that are in a powder form. Now, because I already did my foundation, I'm going to do a powder form, but with the liquid, you can mix it with your foundation, and that way you have a nice little luminosity look. This one is from Becca, and I just put a little bit on, so you can kind of blend that right into your foundation, or you can apply it before you do that. That way you have your whole face kind of all that nice and shine with illuminated look. You can put it in certain areas too after you put your foundation on. You can put it on your forehead, down your nose, and above your cheekbones by the eyes. So what I have a Mary Kay highlighter with the blush, but since I already put my blush on, I'm just gonna focus more on the highlighter. And I'd show you, but I think in the latest video that I had, it broke, so we have just little bit of pieces. So just taking a nice fluffy brush, just gonna dab that right on top so you have it right on your blush brush, and then you're just gonna focus right by the eye. area here. Just kind of pat it and blend it in. Same thing on the other side. And I'm just going to put a little bit on my forehead here. Just dust it down to the nose. And that's pretty much it. So you can see where the light hits my upper cheek that I have that beautiful highlight. So then lastly, what we're going to do is, like I said, we will finish off by using a finishing powder, or what's out there now is a finishing spray, which unfortunately I am out of today, so I can't show you that. But the best ones that I know so far are the Urban Decay setting sprays. You could do the de-chilled, you could do the all-nighter, which is a very popular one, and those work wonders too. But just for this, I'm just doing the setting powder. And if you are like a Bare Mineral fan, the Mineral Veil is the same thing, so you can definitely use that. So I just buffed my brush in, and I'm just going to do a little swirl all the way around so this blocks everything in. Definitely focusing by the nose and on the chin. Like I said, that's where I tend to get a little bit on the oily side. And this will help just kind of make sure that that doesn't stray away. And there you have it. That is just a flawless complexion of what I do on a daily basis. So I hope you guys had a lot of fun. I hope I taught you some things. If you have any questions or comments, you can just definitely put them down below. I love to hear those. But other than that, we'll just stay tuned to see how I do my eyes. All right, you guys, take care, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.